This is gonna be a super dope series. It's gonna be like 3 or 4 parts. It's all about the WRX taillights. I'm gonna be putting them together today. I'm gonna frost the lens on one of the taillights and compare that to the non-frosted lens on the other. If you don't know what that means, just stay tuned. We're gonna cover it all right now. What's up? My name is Chris from FlyRyde.com. I'm gonna do a really deep dive series. Because I wanted to take it seriously, I even did my top button. I color matched my hat in my eyes and my shirt. I'm taking this really seriously, and I hope you will too, because I want you to learn some cool stuff. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification icon, and then you'll get all of the alerts when the new parts of this series unroll. Let's go take a look at all the parts. So these are the parts that we're gonna be working with in a bit, and this is the lens that I was talking about frosting, and that just means that I'm gonna blast the back of it with media to make it a lot more cloudy, because if we look, I have one assembled light right here, and that has the unmolested lenses. I'm gonna put some stickers and some cool stuff on these before I get them ready to go down to San Diego. But then I've got the raw panel right here, and I've hooked it up so that we can look at all the different functions that it has. So that is our parking light. Matter of fact, let me turn off those lights and we'll get a little bit clearer view of these different animations. So that is our parking light. This is our brake light. That's gonna be our left turn signal right there, and then our right turn signal. And then I also added in the flasher that I made a video on recently. And so that is doing a flashing left and right. And because this is a crazy awesome remote, it has one of the 6 buttons that's momentary. So if I push that, that's actually gonna change the style on the strobe controller. So if I just keep pushing this button right here, this F button, it just gives it a temporary little signal, which is exactly what that strobe controller needs so that it can go through all of its different modes. So this one little remote control, which I'm gonna do another follow-up video on later, does a lot of cool stuff. So let's turn off the strobe, back to parking light, turn parking light off, and then again, if we wanna look at any of those modes by themselves, that is our right turn signal, that is our left turn signal. So many clicking noises, brake light, and our super cool, brand new, this is a brand new thing from Corso Motion, the intro parking light animation. So lots of new projects, we're gonna have that on there. I have this giant nest of awesome parts that I didn't try to make look pretty. Now I gotta take it all apart so that we can start playing with this stuff. All right, so here's my layout for the stickers that are gonna go on there. FlyRyde on the top, and then throttle facing the back. So it'll say FlyRyde on top on the other side. And so on this one, we have the throttle sticker on the side, and we'll just leave it like this, or maybe I'll throw the little FlyRyde logo right there or something. This one is gonna be staying for now with that completely clear C-bar diffuser. This one, we're gonna go blast the backside of it in the cabinet and then compare the two side by side. We could see the difference between these two for sure. The first test that I want to do is putting everything back on the actual housing here, and then we're going to assemble it and do a side by side. All right, so there are 3 little clips on the back side of this part, but then there's one little nub that actually is going to get melted into place on the back. And so I've got a hot soldering iron waiting for it right now. And these do kind of have to go in somewhat of an order, and I'm sure they don't go in that order. They probably go in a different order. In any case, that little section right here is where I've got to melt the plastic down and then just kind of fuse it with the plastic next to it. That's just gonna make sure that over time, no matter what, it's not gonna wiggle out of position. All right, so that's good. Now I'm gonna put the lower reflector on. Has a little throttle sticker on there, and this has 1, 2, 3 sections that have to be melted back into place, and then one of the little clips. And this one is super important that these things get melted down back how they were so that it doesn't fall out of place, because it doesn't have a bunch of clips around it. Glue, not good. Melting it to the plastic is the way to go. There's a clip here and a clip there. Make sure that there's no weird little pieces of plastic, and I need to check to make sure that there's nothing that seems loose on any of this. All the clips look perfect. So now we can really see a difference between the frosted and the non-frosted. We don't want to frost this because we want it to stay super reflective. Something interesting to think about though is that this section right here in the middle, that has no red, that's just clear plastic, but all of this section and this section right here, as well as the side, that's all covered by red plastic. So that's gonna completely change the look of this so that it's not so apparent that that milky one looks quite a bit different than that, but we'll see. If it looks good, we'll know. All right, and last is the little side trim. Just gonna slide everything back into place and melt it just like the other parts. This one's really important that it's nice and tight because these are the only things keeping it into place. I wanna make sure that none of that plastic is visible on the other side. And then the last one is right in the middle. Same thing, don't want to make it visible, but want to make sure it's super melted. How does it look? It looks pretty friggin' perfect. Can't be too upset with that. So let's go ahead and throw our stickers on, and then we'll do that little light test. This is one of my favorite parts about doing custom work is you could just really get all creative and throw weird little things. I've seen dudes put like all sorts of little hearts or little, I don't know, just different logos, all sorts of different cool stuff. But in this case, just a nice little FlyRyde logo centered up here. I'll be one happy dude. Boom. Looks quite nice, quite nice. This probably should have been done before I put the plastic on, but whatever. And one thing I definitely have to make sure that I do is get any fingerprints off this nice black plastic. I think that looks dope. And then last, this thing was so hard to make because I suck at making stickers, but getting it that small and geez, even now, just getting it to stick on this transfer paper. I was sitting there with the pick forever trying to get this thing right. Wow, that's so dope. Oh, the little things. Yeah, there we go. Wow, sicky. All right, the big moment. I just want to look at this thing right now. Modified factory circuit board. Luckily the wires are routed nicer on this one than the second one that I did. Got it right the first time. Second time wasn't a big deal. It's just some of the wires were like coming over that hole, but these are like wrapping around. Looks sick. Here goes the dun-da-da moment. Really credit to you. That looks cooler. I don't know. It's weird. That's spottier, but brighter, I feel like. I don't know. I really need your opinion. You can tell me what you think. Something really cool is that we could just use the back part of this and just run everything right through that. Put a couple screws into place and it's gonna stay and look perfect. And the cool thing is since the sequencer's going out the back, I can make adjustments to it anytime I want. And I don't even have to have the taillights off the car. I can just pop the trunk and access them right through there. Now I gotta worry about it falling. I have to line up this hole first so that the other ones can just sit into place. Nice. There's 5 screws total, but I'm just mocking this thing up right now. So that is our completed dude. Wow, what a big difference between the two looks. I don't know how I feel, to be honest with you. Let's check out these parking lights. They definitely look different. Especially with my eyes. It's harder to see with the camera just how different they look. But you could tell this one's definitely got more of a diffused look. This one right here, you can still see perfectly through. So at certain angles, it doesn't catch as much light, whereas this one, because of that diffusion, it really picks it up. So this is probably the better way to compare the two. There's that. And then there's that. Make sure to tell me in the comments which one you like, the left one or the right one, diffused or not diffused. And stay tuned because I'm gonna keep on this. I used so many different, it's like a smorgasbord of, I don't even, is that how you say that word? A smorgasbord of components on that build. We got Corso Motion doing the sequential stuff, the SpeedTech lighting, little remote control, that has the 6 buttons with the sixth one being that momentary. And then that's turning on the Maxxima strobe controller that's doing the left and right stuff, FlyRyde bulbs. And I also use the little diodes to be able to do brake light as well as the strobe controller. Okay, make sure to tell me in the comments which one you liked more, left or right. My guys at Throttle, they're really pumped about it and they told me which one they like better. So I will share that with you on the next video. And that's when I'll see you next. See ya.